growing and developing, on the business side, and you're understanding the inner workings of everything. And just in case, you don't have that opportunity to play professionally, that's okay, but yeah, the whole idea of cultivating and learning the ins and outs of whatever business aspect you want to go into are very important at a very young age,
Yeah, see, I wanted to ask you that because we all hear the stories about athletes who are only concerned about the sport and they only concentrate on that and nothing else. But unfortunately, if they get injured, for example, early on in the career, what they're going to do? They're going to struggle to continue in another capacity in that area, or they're just going to have to think, okay, I don't want to give it up, but I have to think about doing something else. So I'm just curious, would you say, is it hard to think about trying to incorporate the business sense and think about all the other enterprises that you could do as well into that strategy? Because as a young person, you may only want to think about the career or the sport that you love. So they have to, who's going to tell them you need to think about other stuff as well and make it stick?
Right. Well, those individuals that care about them, and also those individuals that know and they've had experiences with it. That's one of the things that I try to do. And even when I go and talk to the professional teams and I tell them you have to have a fallback plan, you have to have a plan that's going to allow you to transition, because we all take off the helmet at some point. We all stop bouncing the basketball. We all take off the cleats. It is what it is. And if you really care about an individual, then you want to tell them that. There has to be a good side and a bad side. Life is not always good. So you have to be able to tell them, hey, we all have to transition. So the best thing you can do now is to transition well. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Now, that's led me neatly into what I sent you the article that I wanted you to speak about, because I was fascinated to know what you thought about this article. It's called Why Successful People Leave Their Loser Friends Behind. Now, would you agree with this, especially for young people who are just starting out, that they should be careful about the company that they keep and who they have around them?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, that's something that we talked about earlier in the show. I mean, the idea that you're going to have peer pressure, both positive and negative peer pressure, and it really will have an impact upon you. I think that, the whole social desirability thing that we talked about, when you want to be perceived a certain way, then sometimes your morality becomes at stake, because you try and figure out, well, if I do the right thing, are they going to make fun of me? If I do the negative thing, does that mean I'm going to be seen in a better light, with the cool kids or whatever it may be, or even the cool adults? It's one of those things that you have to figure out, okay, what do I want to do? That's why I keep talking about this thing. When you understand who you are, then you have a greater ability to go, no, I'm good on that. I'm not going to do it.
That's it. Yeah, see ya. I'm done. Bye-bye.
Yeah. It takes a lot. It takes a lot, because as human beings, we crave acceptance. And it's only that certain level of maturity that allows you to go, that's probably not the best way for me to go. So for those individuals that do leave those individuals behind, that's probably the best thing.
Yeah. Oh, wow. People out there, I hope you're taking note of what Dr. Jason is saying today. Now, this was interesting to me. I've taken a few quotes from the article, and one of them, it says that they were going to look at the one factor that will likely make or break your success. As we've just been talking about, the people you surround yourself with. But it's saying you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, which was a quote from Jim Rohn. But I'm just curious to know, would you agree that also that you need to have 3 other essential people? Because again, in the article, it was saying a mentor once told me that no matter how many close people you have in your network, if you want to be truly great, you must have 3 essential people in your life at all times. Number 1, a person who is older and more successful than you to learn from. Number 2, a person who is equal to you to exchange ideas with. Or number 3, a person below you to coach and keep you energized. Would you agree with any or all of those?
I would agree with those. I think that's pretty good. That's a pretty good assessment. I would also offer that you need to have someone who's pressing in too, that lets you realize that, at the end of the day, they allow you to see that you don't have it all figured out. So I would definitely like to see a 4th person added to that. But yeah, that's good. I would agree with those 3.
Okay, fantastic. So would you agree that they can also these quotes can also help to hone the leadership skills as well?
I would, but it depends. One thing you have to remember is that an individual's ability to lead is really going to be based upon their ability to be empathetic, which you talked about earlier, their maturity that's going to allow them to show the way for others, and then those social skills. Man, those social skills are huge. If you are someone that is aggressive and you're dictatorial and you harsh towards people, I don't care what type of leadership ideas you have. It's going to be very hard to lead people.
They're not going to want to. They're not going to want to be led by you, I suppose.
No, they're not about it. It's going to get interesting really quick.
So would you say that obviously you've talked about your life and again the challenges that you have been through, which have not stopped you from being extremely successful today, but did you ever have anyone, and it may not have been somebody you knew, but like a positive role model that you aspired to be like? Remember you were talking earlier about if kids see things on TV, if they don't have someone around them. Did you have somebody, either a real person or a TV role model, that you aspired to be like? Or did you have the distinct examples of the type of people or person that you did not want to be like around you when you were growing up?
Wow. Now that's a good one. I love that last part that you shared. I would say three things. I had in my formative years, my high school coach really had a positive impact on me. So that was almost like, if I had a choice, I'd want to be more like him, in that way. As I got older, I'd never forget this, and I think he knows this because we've talked. Cornelius Bennett, a guy that played football as well. He played for the Buffalo Bills at the time. Great guy, wanted to be more like him at that time. And then I also had those individuals that you described that I don't want to be like them. And if that's the way they are, then I'm going to do an about face and do something totally different. What they're doing. Yeah. So I had those individuals too. And so that really helped me. It helped me to form an idea of what I wanted to be like. But, Avani, and I'll share this because hopefully the listening audience can take something from this. I began to realize that while those people were good, there were things that I could take or leave from their aspects. Mm-hmm. But the more time I spent with myself, the more time I spent in self-reflection, the more time I spent reading or just alone time, I liked who I was and I like who I am. And that informed really my desire to do things, to grow, develop, and really become the type of man I am today. And so, those are the things that eventually you put away, those things that you dealt with as a child, and then you grow and develop. And I kind of like me, and I hope that I can impart the same thing, to young people as an example these days.
Absolutely. Oh, I think they're definitely taking it on board today because it's been fantastic speaking with you. I wanted to ask, what advice would you give to someone to continue to keep up the high level of discipline? I know you've had to have that as a sports person, the training, the working out, you've got to keep to schedules, networking, looking after yourself, eating right, all these things. How could they use it to diversify into other areas of business and activities?
Sure. Well, I call it productize to monetize. And what if you take a look at my site, you'll see different products, but they're products and niches, whether it's assessment tools to help people reach their goals and personal development or business development, or whether it's leadership tools, whatever it may be. The one time that you stop creating and researching how you can get better and how you can offer things to people is really when you're going to start going downhill. So what I mean by that, the more you develop and understand what your niche is, then there's a greater likelihood that you can create products. There's a greater likelihood that you can monetize and really share your messaging with more people. So, all the things you alluded to with your examples, whether it's working out, whether it's growing, whether it's writing, whatever it may be, all those things lend itself to being able to do more, to help more people. And that allows you to diversify your offerings. Okay. So that whole productized thing, that's huge. That's huge. You need to really get your information out to as many people as possible.
Wow, I know our time is running short, Dr. Jason. Oh, my goodness. I knew this would happen. I want to ask you, do you believe that people should adopt and teach their kids as well to have a healthy relationship with money from a young age so that it does not limit the mindset of being successful in the future?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the habits that you are developing as a young person, if you think about Kohlberg's stages of development, at a very formative stage, you're trying to figure out your belief system about certain things. And money is one of those things that you really should deal with and have a greater understanding of very soon. If you don't, it can turn into something difficult later in life. I mean, if you're prone to just spending and you don't save anything, then that can turn into an issue. So absolutely, that should be something to deal with early.
Do you believe as well that a positive mental attitude, or just a good attitude, can go a long way to helping people to stay on the right track to achieve their dreams and their goals, especially when others around them may not be supporting them?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. The more that you can really err on the side of being positive, there's more you can do. I mean, the moment that you say, hey, I can't do this or I can't do that or they're all against me, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's at that point that you basically say, well, I've lost. So no, I don't believe in that. You need to be positive. Are storms going to come? Absolutely. You're going to have some challenges, but if you are positive and you remain optimistic, there's a greater likelihood that you can overcome those challenges, more so than if you're just down all the time and you think that just doom and gloom is going to take place.
Fantastic. I know that you really have to leave us soon, Dr. Jason, but I have been told it's my last question. I had a lot for you, but I wanted to ask you now, looking to the future, have you ever envisaged any of your books being made into a film or a TV series? Because again, you talked about legacy earlier, so I was just curious.
Well, you know what? I have a few times I've thought about that sort of thing. I would be open to it. I think that my life would serve as a good mirror for other people to look at and go, wow, I can relate to that, or I can learn from that. So I would be open to that. I think that would be great. And I certainly have a lot of content to share.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And it has been extremely fascinating for you coming onto the Ask Avani show today. Can you please once again tell the listeners where they can go to find out more about you and your books and everything that you do?
Absolutely. Well, two things. If they want to be connected with me, they can text to me at I Speak Life, to 38470, and then you'll get connected with me that way. But if you want to go to jason-carthen.com, my book is available there. The most recent one, 52 Ways to Tackle Leadership for Your Success. I'm also at Jason Carthen Enterprises on Facebook, and then on Twitter. Dr. Jason Carthen. West is just Jason Carthen on Twitter, and then Dr. Jason99 on Snapchat. So
fantastic. It has been an absolute honor to have you on the Ask Avani show. Please come back again when you're doing your other books. We'd love to speak to you again. It's been fantastic. Oh my goodness. Talking about your work and your life and all the things that you do. And I'm hoping and I'm sure that when other people hear your story, especially the young people and teenagers out there, which has been more geared to for today's show, I'm hoping it will help to motivate and inspire them. So I thank you so much for all your time today. It's been fantastic speaking with you. Please, you're more than welcome to come back again soon. And yes, thank you so much for your time, Dr. Jason Carthen.
I fly with the stars in the skies. I am no longer trying to survive.
Hi, this is Avani. You're tuned in to the Ask Avani Show podcast on the Get Global Network. Good afternoon and welcome back. This is the Ask Avani Show here on SoMetro Radio. I hope you have enjoyed the interview that was with Dr. Jason Carthen. I was asking him about inspiration, motivation, and leadership, and asking could more young people today benefit from a mentor to help them be successful, especially from early on in their lives. And I was talking to him about his life and how he has managed to be so successful and continues to be so. Welcome back, K Rose.
Good afternoon. Good morning, Avani.
I hope that everybody enjoyed that interview. Do you think they did, K Rose? Do you think they got something out of it?
I did. I'm being selfish right now, and so but I got a lot out of it. I enjoyed it, and if you didn't enjoy it, I'm gonna be nice. I hope you enjoyed it.
No, I know they did. Oh, because K Rose, I'm sure they can tell that I definitely enjoyed speaking with Dr. Carthen. Very fascinating, very interesting things that he was saying. And I wondered about it. It was the best way for us to be able to share some of his thoughts and the things that he has done. I thought it was fantastic. And I also wanted to share, and I'm going to let everybody